We've had some escapees. G'day there, I'm Dana from Piwakaka Valley Homestead. We have been running our rabbits in a colony for 4 years now on a dirt floor, and we have finally had some escapees and we have just rounded them all up, and I'm going to show you the modifications that we've made to our colony shed so that you won't have this problem either. The kids have just come down to feed the rabbits, and unfortunately we've discovered that all the baby bunnies are missing. I didn't bring you with us because it was a bit of an urgent escapade trying to catch them all before the cat or anybody else got them, or before they headed for the hills and we never saw them again. So we've rounded them all up and we've put them into the bunny house, and then we have modified the floor. I'm a firm believer in keeping rabbits in the most natural environment as possible, and of course rabbits do dig. So we've got one end of it is covered in bricks, and the other end, well, we ran out of bricks, to be honest. So we had put down some really thick gauged woven wire, like a chicken wire, except this is called a rabbit wire and it's quite thick. And so we had that over the floor, and for the last 4 years that has worked really, really well. We put a few pellets on top just to build the level up, and in case it rained quite heavily, sometimes it got a puddle, so we put some pellets. But unfortunately after 4 years those pellets have rotted out and the mummy bunnies have started to dig. And to start with that was okay, they just sort of dug just under the pellets and they used it as a hidey hole. Unfortunately their latest litter, they're about 4 weeks old now I think. They have been adding to the digging, and they have managed to dig right through and pop out the back into the orchard, which is where our cooney pigs are. Luckily that orchard, we've had it really, really well fenced. It's actually a rabbit proof fence, so even if they got out through there they couldn't go too far, but that's not to say that the hawks or the falcons or the pigs or the cats couldn't actually get to them. So we have herded them all up, thank goodness for the fishing net, caught them all, and return them back. And so let's go and have a look and I'll show you what we've done. One of the very first modifications we had to make was I know it's just a feed sack and I know it's just stapled on, but we have this step board underneath the door and it had the tiniest little crack. It might have been maybe an inch, and the rabbits couldn't get through it. However, we found half a rabbit on the path, and it happened a couple of days in a row. Baby rabbits, like, how on earth are they getting through here? And then we've discovered our cat was somehow sneaking up, waiting for them to fall asleep under the door, hooking her little claw under and pulling them out. So we had to cover this up. That was one of the first things. Never underestimate how small a gap a bunny that's being pulled can fit through. Now this is our rabbit colony. It's not the prettiest shed in the world, but it works, and we've been running it for 4 years now. I used to have my meat rabbits in here, and these days my children have got their mini lops in here. This is how my kids get their pocket money. They breed mini lops and sell them as pets. So these guys have the happiest life hooning around in here. They've got lots of room to run and play. And what we've done is put some roofing iron down. I know it's not a permanent fix, but it will last a very long time, and hopefully by the time it starts to have problems we'll have enough money to be able to concrete in here and put in a cement floor. Why did we choose to use roofing iron on the floor? Well, the main reason was we were in a hurry and we needed something urgently to be able to put on the floor that would stop these bunnies from digging out and to protect them from the cat. He likes to just hang out there and watch the bunnies play all day. So we have put this roofing iron down. We've covered it in straw. Usually we get wood shavings, like pine wood shavings, to put on the floor, but the place we get them from doesn't currently have any. Hopefully we'll be able to get some this week, but the straw's working fine in the meantime. So the roofing iron is hard. The rabbits can't dig through it. We've made sure that all the curves point down so that they're not going to get cut or anything daft on it. And these guys are enjoying it. So over here we also have our buck. He lives in this cage here. for most of the time, so he can still socialise with everybody, but can't have babies. Well, at least that was the theory. However, we have just had a surprise litter, so we'll have a look and see if we can find them. Now this is my big nesting box that I built a long time ago. These boxes are really large because I had Flemish Giants and New Zealand Whites in here. So actually they're probably far too massive for the tiny little mini lots. But I'm not going to change what we've already got. And here you can see our surprise baby bunnies. So I'm not sure if the kids have accidentally let the buck out without letting us know, or whether somehow they've managed to do something through the cage. But aren't they so tiny and little? I'll cover those back up so they don't panic. And the other thing we found was that some of the bunnies were climbing up on the top here. I know it's kind of gross. We've had some chickens in here hanging out with the rabbits for a bit and they pooped all over the top. Some of them were falling down this gap down the back, so we've actually made the gap bigger rather than smaller. We did have it stuffed full so that no one could fall down there, but we were finding that it was harbouring mice. So we've made the gap bigger so that the bunnies can actually get in and out down through this wee gap down here. And this pretty little thing I really want to keep. At the moment, both its ears are lopping the same way. That wee ginger bunny, I'm hoping she's a girl. They're still a little bit too young to sex, so I will try and do that hopefully this week. And if it's a girl, we'll look at getting another buck and keep her because I love the ginger bunnies, they're so cute. Another thing we've had to do is put a hard lid on the top of the buck's cage. The last litter of bunnies we had, we've not had that problem before, but one of them decided to jump up here and she got her foot stuck in the wire as she was jumping off and she broke it. And that was a real devastating accident that, you know, no one could really foresee happening. Unfortunately it did happen and we have now taken steps that it won't happen again. The downside to bunnies is that they are prey animals and they do die very, very easily, which is a shame, and it's really rough and it sucks when you get really attached to them and they do die, but it is just the nature of the beast. They breed prolifically and they die very easily. So we do all the things that we possibly can to keep our bunnies as healthy and happy as we can. They have fresh food, fresh water. We treat them for coccidiosis every now and again. They have a coccostat in their food as well. They get plenty of fresh greens, and they have a grand old life while they're running around here. This is the other nesting box that sometimes the mummy bunnies use. And then we've got a hay rack over there that needs refilled. Our two does are sisters from the same litter. We call them Ninja and Star. They're the bigger grayer ones. So this is one of them's litter that's hooning around here, and I presume the other one is the one that's had the babies. One of the other modifications we have made, thanks to the cat trying to get in here all the time, is we actually have a latch on the inside and the outside of the cage. And this is so that we can latch it shut, because Cassie, our hunting cat, who unfortunately is no longer with us, she used to just shove the door open while we were in here. So we had to put this extra latch here so that she couldn't sneak in and steal baby bunnies while we were in here feeding them. Mr. Fox, I've just caught him lying in the sun watching the bunnies. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, hit the like button and consider subscribing to our channel. We bring you videos twice a week on growing and preserving your own food, and also I have quite a lot of information about raising rabbits in colonies. I even have a book on the subject, which I will link to the page up here or up here, wherever the link goes. I don't know, it looks backwards when I film it, so I can never remember. And yeah, if you want to check that book out, it's really helpful. And I also have a playlist on raising rabbits in colonies, so I'll link to that up here or here as well for you. We'll see you in the next one.